unanimous. Number 6, approve reconfiguration of Cabazon Elementary School. Mr. Fisher.
Mr. President, the board has been given a proposal that has been written, and it's time now for the board to discuss and then act upon the proposal.
Okay, before we do that, do we have a motion for this?
Move to approve.
Is there a second?
I second it.
There is a second for the approved reconfiguration of Cabazon Elementary School. Now it's open for discussion. Board?
Okay.
Mr. Ellis?
Yeah. Gordon, could
Yes.
you read to the audience what that proposal is?
Are you looking at you want the background read? Mr. Ellis, is that what you're talking about?
As far as K through 5, and then
What you gave us.
what was given to us.
Right. This is, we want to have our viewers and the audience up to speed and knowing what we are going to be discussing here, so that will be very, very helpful. Thank you, Mr. Ellis, for bringing that forward.
Okay. Well, the district is exploring the concept of a K-8 school with an emphasis on technology for the following purposes: to provide an education program geared to preparing our students with the career and college-ready skills necessary to be successful beyond high school, to provide an additional educational alternative for students and parents, provide more efficient use of the Cabazon facility. Those are the purposes.
Okay, and also that my understanding is it'll be K through 5 next year, K through 6 the following year.
That is correct, Mr.
And
Evans.
then during those 2 years' time, they'll be exploring and that, getting ready
They'll
for
be fleshing out
K through
a plan for a K-8 configuration, yes.
Utilizing an implementation committee to do that.
Yes.
Right, involving the whole community and the staff and everything.
That is correct. And it's a school, it isn't just for Cabazon students. Cabazon students may choose to attend or may choose not to attend, and all other students within the district may choose to attend or not to attend.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Casares?
Again, if the board does accept this plan to do a K through 8, there are positives and negatives with everything. But one concern that was brought up to me by community members and by people outside the district who have worked in other fields, one particular person who worked in the San Bernardino school district, she said a comment, and it's still, every time I think about putting a K-8, she said, please don't put those babies with, K-8 students, because they're young. Students like in our community right now, there's a reason why we have a 5th and 6th class at Coombs and 7th and 8th at Nicollet. Back in the day, we used to have, at Coombs, we used to have 6th, 7th, and 8th, Nicollet, 6th, 7th, and 8th. But even community members saw that there was still a developmental growth at that 6th grade level. So I still have some concerns if we do go for the principle that we will go through a K through 8. And I would like to hear anybody else who may have had those concerns from the board. If please speak now, because I want to make sure I'm not the only one who has heard of this before.
But I do need to comment that we can do visitations, and I would suggest that we do a visitation at a school that is a K-8 school, some that are 2 through 8, that will alleviate those concerns and show how the campus is designed to facilitate the maximum potential developmentally for all of the students.
I'd like to just share that in answer to Alex's concern, my daughter's been teaching, I think, 25 years now at a K-8 school, and talked with her a little bit about that. She's at the elementary level teaching 3rd and 4th graders, and she said that the school is very well divided. The 7th and 8th grade, actually 6th, 7th, and 8th grade students pretty much are separated from the kindergarten through 5th. Even the kindergarten and first kids are pretty well separated from the 2nd, 3rd, 4th grade. The school is designed that way. I'm sure that the planning on this school will be the same way, that there will be divisions, grade level divisions that will separate the babies from the older kids. There's no intention to have the eighth graders hanging around a bunch of first graders. It just isn't
They
happening.
don't want to.
No.
I think what we need to keep in mind too is that the reason why we have so many schools with the kids because we have a lot of kids, so we have to separate them by grades. And so when the kids are all together, it's just like in a home. You know, you have 2-year-olds, 10-year-olds, 15-year-olds, and somehow they tend to get along. And if you have a school, you have a community, and you have a school, and the school can support K through 8. I think we need to keep in mind that they will be separated. You know, there's no way they would have the second graders on the same playground as the eighth graders. And again, I think the only reason why we have the schools separated is because we have so many kids. So we have to separate them by grades. So I think it's certainly a valid concern. But look at reality is, you know, we all work together and we all cohabitate together no matter what age. But it is a good concern, though.
Well, what we're trying to do with this is going to be an academy. We've thrown out the words such as charter, independent, dependent, and independent. But no magnetism to that, so it's an academy because of funding issues. My concerns are slight. And I really don't believe there's a total plan here. We're on the board tonight to approve something that we want to happen, but I don't see anything. I hear things. Comment K school, Mr. Boehner's school. I'd like to see the climate. I'd like to see these visits because I don't really believe our structuring at my few visits out there are really conducive to a K-8. I need to see numbers of money and cost. You heard Mr. What's his name? Jessup, Mr. Jessup talk about our problems with money. If we do something for the children, I want it to be done first class, not haphazardly. I would be in favor to start with the K-6, do our visits. It's not going to happen in 1 year or 2 years, but let's really study and do things right. The old carpenter adage, you know, measure it twice, cut it once. So I feel that at this point in time, I have not enough information to totally support a K-8. So that's my comment.
No, please, go ahead.
I think what we need to keep in mind that in supporting the K-8, we're not talking about having a K-8 tomorrow.
That's what I said.
Yeah, and so and just reiterating that when everyone's clapping for not having a K-8, you know, we never know what's going to happen in the future, but at least plan for it. Because what we're planning on is we're planning for growth. And so, and I agree with President Curtis that we certainly need more information and a more solid plan and take phases. You know, and I think that's the plan anyway, to take phases, but to let everybody know, no one is suggesting that we have a K-8 next year.
That's what let me continue, then I'll defer over to Mr. Casadas. Right, and it's not going to happen overnight, but I think the concept is good, and as you heard, the numbers of where K-8s, K-6s are. I'm working in a K-6 right now in my spare time. I have a concern with my personnel background of the credentialing that happens in 7/8. You can get an elementary credential depending how you put a CSD code or CDS code on it, but then you have nothing against elementary teachers that have elementary credentials, but if we're going to look at an academy, I want a true science guy. I want a true language arts person. Nothing against elementary because we're doing a great job, and I've been teaching 6th grade. And it's tough, but that's just my concerns. I'm just one person, so
I'd like to address that. We will be able to get the single subject teachers as well, because I agree with you. When we start teaching those science concepts, we want someone who has the background and knowledge. So we can do a combination of both.
Okay. Mr. Casadas.
Yeah, and just my idea, I think that as this board, we should change the idea that we're going to go